a life, an association of mosques that are concerned about the life of Muslims in America and concerned about the life of Americans in America and concerned about the life of human beings in the world.
And let me ask you, Imam, even though there's a predominantly African American community, Muslims of all colors, all races are welcome to come here.
Oh, welcome. And generally for any of the 5 prayers, you'll see a much bigger mix, a greater mix. During the Friday prayer, we would probably be 80 to 85% African American. But in doing any other prayer, you know, as Muslims travel, they go to whatever mosque they're near. When it's Friday prayer, they try to go to the mosque that they have an allegiance to.
Right.
But yeah,
but everybody's welcome.
Everybody's welcome, and also what's unique about our particular masjid and community is that non-Muslims are welcome. So any Friday, we'll have generally 1,000 people for Friday Jummah, and any Friday you might have 20 to 30 Christians or even Jews or interfaith people that are coming here to experience what it is to worship with Muslims.
But now, you know, the dawah and spreading Islam, it goes a lot by our example of how we live our lives. So how important part of the dawah of those Christians who probably are uncles, cousins, relatives coming to see what's going on, how big has that been in attracting people to Islam?
Well, actually, it's a natural thing for the relatives, but who I'm talking about is not the relatives. We actually are the leaders, this community are the leaders of interfaith work in the city of Atlanta, and therefore in the city of Georgia, and therefore in the whole Southeast. We are the leaders of that. We take 2 to 3 different interfaith groups a year to different parts of the world. We go to Turkey, we go to Andalusia in southern Spain, we go to Jerusalem, and we deal with Israel and Palestine. We go to various places to take people who have an interest in a faith to see a historical setting that had people of different faiths living together at some point. But the whole purpose is to bring them back so that they will work together as aligned friends and brothers and sisters wanting to promote a greater understanding about all of our faiths. So you would generally, when the colleges want to visit a mosque, this is the one that is easiest and most accessible to visit, because we really believe that we see dawah in its broadest sense, that I'm doing dawah when I can get a Christian to be a better Christian. I'm doing dawah when I can get a Jew to be a better Jew. I'm doing dawah when I can get the average person to be more conscious of the principles of goodness and justice and righteousness. That's my dawah. My dawah is not just to get them to take shahada and become a Muslim, because really...
But I just want to say on that point, you know, it's not any of us that really get people to take shahada, you know? But it's a lot of people who come to us because they're seeking Islam and they're seeking to take shahada.
But I want you to hear this. I want you to hear this. That, think about it, in Quran, Abraham is addressed as a Muslim. Moses is addressed as a Muslim. Even Christ Jesus is addressed as a Muslim. Now, all of them are before our prophet. They're before Prophet Muhammad. So really, when you look at how Allah is using this word Muslim, it's bigger than how many of us are using the word Muslim. You know, and so this is our dawah, is to say that we are blessed to understand this from the Quran and from Prophet Muhammad, and that we're not calling anyone to our ritual, but we're calling them to the Lord of all of the worlds. And Christ Jesus knew the Lord of all the worlds. Moses knew the Lord of all the worlds. Abraham knew the Lord of all the worlds. Even Adam knew the Lord of all the worlds. So that's what we're calling them back to. And then it's much easier for us to call, because the Quran speaks of the people of the book, speaks of Jesus, speaks of Moses, speaks of Harun, Aaron, speaks of all of them. Whereas to get to Muhammad through the Gospels of the Bible, you have to interpret it. To get to Christ in the Torah, you have to interpret it. Whereas the Quran, you don't have to interpret to get to Christ. You don't have to interpret it to get to Moses. It's there. It's plain. It's clear. But it's the spirit and the knowledge that comes, and it comes back. And oftentimes when it comes, we reject it, as many of the prophets were rejected before.
Yeah, but Imam, let me ask you a bit about the community here, about the history of the community, the makeup of the community, and how you came to be the Imam of this community.
Well, we're celebrating our 50th year as a community. We were established as a registered mosque or temple at that time in the Nation of Islam in 1958. And it was a little more difficult being established as a Nation of Islam in the Bible Belt and down in the South than it was in, first established in Detroit and then Chicago.
Well, what were some of the difficulties you faced here?
Well,
were you around at that time?
No, I came in '74, but I was in Atlanta at that time.
Right.
And the word Muhammad was something that I was an A student all the way through elementary school and through high school, and I never heard anything about a prophet named Muhammad. I never heard anything about Islam. I never heard anything about anything. Even now, I was surprised just recently to understand that everything I read about Asia Minor was talking about Turkey. And still now in media, when people are talking religion, they always say Asia Minor, or they talk about good that has occurred in that part of the world is Asia Minor. Nobody says it's Turkey. Nobody talks about the 7 churches that Paul sent the letters to. All of them are in Turkey, every one of them. But why is that? Because Turkey has been a Muslim country for so long now, under the Ottoman Empire and even with Genghis Khan and everything. So the information about Islam was held back from us, especially in the South. And so when I went to college at Harvard, then I began to discover about other religions. Even in the South, even the idea of, if you would ask me growing up as a boy in the South, if you would ask me what a Jew is, I would tell you it's the person who owns the store on the corner. It's the Jew store. Okay. So in the South, it was Christianity or nothing. And really, it was Protestant Christianity or nothing. You didn't even know too much about Catholics, even though there were some African-American Catholic schools here, but you didn't know too much about Catholicism. And really, not only was it Protestants, it really was Baptists. When you're in the South, it's about Baptist Christians and nothing else. So for the Nation of Islam to get established here was much more difficult than when you go to Detroit or Chicago or Cleveland and Milwaukee, where you have a great diversity of Christian faiths, and you also have an establishment of Jewish people and other people there. But here in the South, you basically have Bible Belt Baptist Christians, and the same. If you can just think back that how difficult it was for President John Kennedy, being a Catholic, to all the concerns people had about him running for president because he was Catholic. You could ask the average person in the South, and they would either not know anything about Catholicism, or they would think that the Pope was